See up in the corner where it says YouTube.
All right, we've got several matters set for today. We've got a bunch at 1:30, and then we've got our difficult prisoner matter at 2. Let's see how much we can accomplish between now and 2 o'clock. Good afternoon, Mr. Thornton.
Good afternoon.
Let's first take up Brooks and Brooks, file 201954ON, Kelly, Kelly Brooks, and 1953 Stanley Brooks. These matters are set for an order to show cause today. Let me pull these up. Neither defendant is here. This was a ticket from Colon Township. From August of last year, Burr Oak Road in Colon Township. I did see some pictures that were attached. That did look like some progress was made. What's the status here, Mr. Thornton?
As far as I know, and Mr. Lindsay can testify because he was out there yesterday, I believe. I don't think any progress has been made in that no permits were applied for either to bring the improvements on the property, including the home, up to code.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong case. Let me look at these pictures because oh, you're right. You're right. Wrong case.
Yeah, this one just has 3 photos of the improvements. And no demolition permit was obtained. So they've really ignored the court's order and everything the township's tried to get them to do.
Mr. Lindsay, would you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Would you state your name, please?
Glenn Joseph Lindsay.
And what's your position with Colon Township?
I am ordinance enforcement officer, zoning administrator, and building official.
All right. We learned from the representation made by Mr. Thornton that you visited this property yesterday. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that the report that Mr. Thornton submitted along with the photographs?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are those fair and accurate photographs of what you saw yesterday?
They are.
And that report is a report of your examination of the property?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will receive that report and the photographs as exhibit number 1. Mr. Thorne, would you like to inquire?
I would. Mr. Lindsay, have you, can you give the court an idea of what the status of that home is? Let's start with the home and then we'll maybe talk about the outbuildings. But have you had a chance to inspect the home up close or the interior of the home?
I have not been on the interior of the home. What I can tell you is the utilities have been disconnected. So it looks like somebody may intend to demolish it. It's in very poor shape. The exterior siding is in bad shape. There's a tarp on the roof, which that the roof is leaking or has leaked in the past. It's just, it's very much in disrepair, and most likely the best course of action would be demolition.
I did.
Have you had any contact with the Brookses in 2021?
I have not had any contact, Your Honor, with them. They've not contacted me to ask me about options. So no direct contact with them at all.
Mr. Thornton, what is your request here?
I submitted a proposed order following show cause in each of the cases for Mr. Brooks and Mrs. Brooks.
Yes.
The request is after 21 days to have to authorize the township and its contractors to cut the power if it isn't already cut, which probably is according to Mr. Lindsay, and demolish and remove the home. And that's our, and then for restitution.
I'm looking for that order. Did you, is that one of the emails you sent?
It is. I would have copied Your Honor with it along with Your Honor's secretary.
I did, and I didn't print it. Let's see here. Is it in Kelly's file? White Pigeon Township, White Pigeon Township. Colon Township. Here it is. Laura, would you print those orders for me in the Stanley and Kelly Brooks file? The order requests that at the time of the examination, 21 days after at the expiration of 21 days after the entry of this order, the township and their agents may enter upon the property and take action necessary to bring the property into compliance, including have the power company that services the property terminate electricity, demolishing the home and removing the resulting debris from the property, demolishing the outbuildings and moving the debris from the property. Now, what's the total restitution request?
At this point, it wouldn't include the demolition or anything because we haven't done it. But the
No.
in paragraph 2, I have inserted my legal fees since June 23rd, which would have been after the compliance order entered. And those total, well, for each case, they're $294.50. So double that would have been the total. I divided it between each case. So that $294.50 would be the cost the township has incurred through my office. I have a blank for Safe Built, and I understand Glenn is ready to tell the court what his costs that he's billed the township for. And then the first blank would be the total of those two.
All right. How much is the Safe Built bill?
Your Honor, we have billed the township $246. That is total between the two cases.
I'm gonna divide 123 per case. 294.50 plus 123 equals 417.50. I'll put in that first paragraph. By default, actually, although there's certainly sufficient evidence to support the request. I do have 21 days to file an appeal. We have an acute housing shortage here in St. Joseph County. Lance, you're well aware of that. You do as much landlord-tenant work as anybody around here. And I see all these properties that have once been fine homes that have disintegrated into destruction, and it's a shame to watch it. At any rate, I've signed the order in each file as requested. All right, let's take up our next matter, which is Charles Ware and Linda May Ware. This is on Chipper Drive in Colon Township. And let me set these aside. I'm taking the easier ones first. You get progressively harder as we go through here. Charles Ware is 2042453ON, 24540N. Linda is 2451ON and 2452. These are all 2020 cases, and they're all zoning violations set for hearing this afternoon. Those defendants also are not present. Mr. Thornton, what's your desire here?
This, Your Honor, we have made progress. Mr. Lindsay can confirm this, but we started out with someone living in an RV on the property illegally and against the township ordinances. I believe that situation has been resolved. Is that correct, Mr. Lindsay?
That is correct. The RV has been removed from the property.
Okay. And then the other violation was litter and junk. I believe progress has been made, but it is not finished. I think if I remember right from Glenn's report, he thought maybe we're down to about 15% of.
Yeah, I had the two mixed up. He said we made 85% progress, which is pretty good.
So and I'd submitted proposed orders on these two cases as well, requesting then just the after 21 days. Hopefully it won't be necessary, but if we have to, the township.
If they can get the other 15% done.
Yeah.
Laura, would you print the orders, and there should be 4 of them, in Charles and Linda Ware? Mr. Lindsay,
there would be 2 orders, because I cover, with one order, I cover each case, the 2 cases for Mr. Ware, and the other order, the 2 cases for Mrs. Ware.
all right. I looked at these yesterday and this morning, and then I neglected to print them. So, Glenn, again, you're still under oath, and the report that you submitted are those fair and accurate photographs of what you saw?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the report is the report of your examination of the property?
Yes, Your Honor.
We would ask for restitution in this one also, and it works. I did it the same way. The $318.25 is divided. That's the divided amount between the 2 cases. And if Mr. Lindsay can inform the court of what total fees he has in this, we can divide them and then get the total restitution request.
Well, I haven't accepted the report yet. Let me finish that part. I'll accept the report and the photographs as plaintiff's exhibit number 1 for this hearing. And you're requesting similar relief in the last case, 21 days for the defendants to bring the property into compliance, or the township will do it and assess costs.
That's correct.
All right, let me click this one up here. Here come those orders. You might as well do Bonnie Myers while you're at it. All right, the township is $318.25. What is your cost for Safe Built?
Your Honor, the total cost for the 2 cases is $328 or $164 per case.
All right, 164. I will add 318.25 plus 164. That's not right. $482.25 in each case. All right, I'm hopeful that by the 21-day period, they'll have the rest of that cleaned up. It is summer and all right, we're ticking up on 2 o'clock. Our next matter entails multiple files with Bonnie Lou Myers.
Your Honor, I think we can, unless Mr. Lindsay has anything else, I think we can release him for
All
the
right,
day.
Glenn, you're good to go. I did those first because then we segue into White Pigeon Township matters. All right, Mr. Lindsay, good to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Lance, for reminding me of that. Bonnie Lou Myers in White Pigeon Township has multiple alleged violations in file 20363, 364, 365, 366, 367, 368, 369, 370, and 371. So there are, I guess, 9 of them, plus there's another case, 211036, which is set for order to show cause. She's not filed an answer. So, Mr. Thornton, what's your request here? Just a minute. Here's somebody logging in. It's probably Mr. Christner.
Okay.
It is. All right, Mr. Christner and Ms. Miller, we're still working on another case. I'll leave you in here. I'm gonna shut off your camera, but you can watch our proceedings. We'll be with you in just a moment. All right, regarding Ms. Myers, who's your witness in this one?
It would be Mr. Coolman and Mr. Wiki, the building inspector.
All right, will both of you please raise your right hand? You both swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
I do.
And you're the code compliance officer for White Pigeon Township, Mr. Coolman?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Wiki, you're the building inspector for the township.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot going on here with all 10 of these complaints. Mr. Thornton, what's your position here?
Mr. Kuhlman can tell the court a little more detail, but in essence, to give credit where credit due, Ms. Myers has finally, after a lot of prodding, has made progress on the 21305 US 12 address. It had a lot of litter and junk to start out with, and it had a double wide mobile home that had been hauled in and never set up. Although at one time, I think it had somebody living in it, and it was in very poor condition. Long story short, that has finally been demolished and removed from that 21305 US 12 address. So that we made significant progress. It's my understanding there's still a small amount of litter, junk, some wood pallets on the property that should be taken care of. But the 21305 address is getting pretty close to being in compliance. The 21307 US 12 address, the litter and junk has been pretty much addressed, maybe a small amount yet. But the biggest problem in that case is the fact that Ms. Myers had been making home improvements that required building permits and was under court order through the compliance order to apply for those permits and have inspections, and has just refused to do so. So she doesn't have any permits and there's been no inspections, and I'm not sure how to get her to do so. You'll see in I only submitted a proposed order on 21307. You'll see that the relief I'm requesting is after 21 days to have her vacate the premises. My theory is if she has to move out, maybe that will get her attention and she'll get the permits and have the inspections.
Well, here's what you've requested. Within 21 days after entry of this order, the defendant and all current occupants living in the home at subject property shall vacate the home and cease and desist living and sleeping on the subject property. Once all occupants have vacated the home, the township may secure the home by boarding up the home. The township is awarded, we'll get to that in a minute. Defendant shall pay these costs. If needed, in paragraph 3, the sheriff's department shall assist the township with enforcement of this order by providing a deputy to be present. All right, Mr. Kuhlman, did you hear the representations made by Mr. Thornton regarding that property, which is 21307 US 12?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
And you're under oath, but do you concur with the representations he made regarding your investigation of the property?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. And back when we did that inspection, there was some serious violations. She runs a business out of the basement of that home as a dog grooming business. As soon as you walked in the door, she had a gas-fired heater mounted to the wall that was illegal, that could pose some fire and safety hazards along with carbon monoxide hazards. She was also renovating a portion of the basement to rent out as an apartment, which not only does she not have building permits for, but I don't believe she has or can get zoning approval for either. So a couple major issues there. When we were there in the apartment area, she had put in like egress windows that did not meet codes. The fire carbon monoxide and the smoke detectors were not functioning. So it's definitely a fire trap back there in that corner as well.
Well, and as you know, we've had a couple of recent fires of these properties that we were struggling with, and either before, during, or after we got involved, the properties burned, one recently. How much is the township requesting in costs, Mr. Thornton?
I submitted a summary of the
Yeah, let me
cost.
click that. Let me
Yeah,
put that up.
my costs through my office are $911. That's covering both cases. Can tell the court I have equally spent about the same amount of time on both cases because they've been running concurrently here.
I'll just put that in that order. What's your fee, Mr. Coleman?
I don't know whether you want to include it or not. I did include the burning violation that's still an open case. It's ready to be defaulted, but I have $280 in both properties.
All right, 911 plus 280 equals 1191. I will sign the order as requested. The defendant has not appeared and has 21 days to comply or enforcement. It's summertime, so we're not going to be using gas heaters, but I hate to read about somebody asphyxiating in their sleep or burning this place up. All right, I've signed that order on all the, that's 20263 through 65. And the other property you indicated is nearly in compliance. What do you wish to do with 66 through 70?
Doug, with the Mr. Coleman, with the pallets that are there, do you feel we need an order on that? I can submit one to the court.
It wouldn't take much to get them out of there, but I just don't know what her cooperation is going to be. So I guess to get it finalized, I would say we probably should submit an order and hopefully she'll take care of it on her own.
All right, 21 days. I will sign it. That leaves the burning citation, which is subject to default here today, file 211036 as a zoning violation for Bonnie Myers. This is 21307 US 12. What do you wish to do with this one?
Have Ms. Myers held in default.
All right. I'm not sure what the fine is for this. I'll check with tab. Defendant failed to appear. Default for township. Fine and costs.
We do have, Your Honor, in addition to Doug's fees, I think, Doug, you testified that your fees regarding this were included, but that did not include the fire response, did it? Or did we have a restitution for the fire response?
Yes, I included that. I had the inspection from yesterday. I had back when I responded on May the 17th, and then I have court time for today.
Yeah, but what about the actual charge for the fire department? Didn't the fire department respond and put out the fire?
Oh, yes, they did. Let me look at my report, see if they submitted that to me. Otherwise, we might have to have Ms. Taft help us. I do not have a copy of the fire run. The citation that I issued had a $500 fine on it, but I do not have a copy of the fire bill.
We'll just use that $500. for fire
If I'm not
costs.
mistaken, the fire run is 350, but
All right. All right, that takes care of that one. We had an awful lot said in a short period of time. It took, I can't imagine what we'd have done if all these people had shown up and contested those cases. They were all set for a half an hour. One of my probation violations didn't show up, and that shortened that up. All right, we're ready to address Mr. Christner and Miss Miller. Could you go ahead and unmute your mic? There we go. This is file 211097, People versus Jaden Christner and, oh, that's a different property. That's 211097. That's a separate Roxanne Seaver case. This case is the fattest one I own. It's entitled White Pigeon Township versus Jaden Christner and Ava Miller. This is a property right across the street from the Township Hall on US 12 that we've been struggling with for 5 years. Officer Kuhlman indicated he did an inspection yesterday. So let's swear everybody in. Mr. Kuhlman, would you raise your right hand? Mr. Wiki, would you raise yours? Mr. Christner and Ms. Miller, would you each raise your right hand? You all swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
I do.
Yes.
I would indicate, Lance, I lost Gene Teft and the supervisor. Their screen went like sort of dark and then they just weren't there, like they were losing power or something. But they're not here
Your
now.
Honor, they just sent me a message. They did lose power at the Township Hall. They're trying to get back on now.
Okay. Is it storming down there? Here they
Not
are.
where I'm at, but
They were starting to when we were over there.
Well, the lights are back on. They were in the dark here a moment ago. Mr. Gloy, the supervisor, and Gene Teft are back. Was there a storm there?
We just had a quick surge or something. The entire building went without power and everything tripped off, but immediately came back on. But we lost you, but we're back on. So our apologies. So
No need to apologize. You're just stuck with what happened. All right. This case is long, tortured, and ongoing. Mr. Kuhlman has presented a new report and a number of photographs which are quite disheartening. Lance, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, just to give a summary, 2 years and 7 months have now passed since we first cited the case. This is our 6th hearing after the compliance order was entered on February 11 of 2019. The original date for the home to be completed was August 11, 2019. We've extended that through the court, has extended that numerous times. As the court can see from the most recent inspection and photos, the inside of the home is still gutted. I don't believe the outside of the home is finished, but we can get Mr. Wiki or Mr. Kuhlman to testify to that. Both defendants continue to disregard the court's orders. There's a standing order and has been since the beginning of the case that all construction materials are to be stored inside. They continue to violate that order. And on that inspection yesterday, we see lots of construction materials being stored outside and in different spots around in the yard and up against trees. And both defendants, I don't know who's doing it, but one or both continue to illegally burn construction materials. There's construction materials shown in these most recent photographs on the burn pile, ready to be burnt. And just so the defendants are aware, I have instructed the township that every time there's a fire with construction materials, they are to have the township fire department respond and put out the fire. So, and that's happened once that I'm aware of recently. We just don't seem to be making any progress or very little progress.
All right, Mr. Coleman, you're sworn under oath. Did you go out yesterday and do an inspection of the property?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
All right, what can you tell us about that?
I'm basing this comparison on an inspection that I did on May 22nd after being called out by the fire department. In the last 30 days, it is my opinion that the exterior of this property has digressed immensely. Back on May 22nd, when I was there, Mr. Christner showed up as well. I advised him you need to get rid of the unlicensed vehicles, the golf cart, and put all the construction debris inside the building. At that time, there was also a refrigerator sitting outside. It appears now that we've got more building materials laying outside. The power is now completely terminated from the structure. The electric meter is completely dead. The same pile where we had burning on May 22nd is now building materials laying out there, doors in the pile again. All the windows and doors were open when I was there with nobody present, so there was no protection from ingress and egress to strangers, vermin, or weather. The only thing that I see is that's changed basically is they've now painted the outside of the house, or are in the process of painting the outside of the house and painting the barn, and the interior of the house is still gutted. So this case is quite frustrating to me.
All right. You prepared a report that includes 37 pages. And then the earlier report, I think, is from May. May 22nd is one report with photographs. And is that a fair and accurate photographs of what you saw that day?
Yes, they are, Your Honor.
We're going to receive that as exhibit number 1 for this hearing. And then there's a second report dated 6/22 from yesterday, which shows the condition of the property as of yesterday. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And again, are those fair and accurate photographs of what you saw?
They are.
We'll receive that as exhibit number 2 for today's hearing. In your report, you liken painting the house and the barns to putting lipstick on a pig. They have made some progress, but the photos from yesterday show the property in a big mess. Was the defendant provided with copies of that exhibit?
I have not seen the defendant, Your Honor, no.
He's here. Well, we're going to have to, Lance, Doug, can you share the screen to show those pictures?
Yes, I can, Your Honor.
All right, let's go through them so the defendant can see them.
Should be up on your screen now.
It is. Mr. Krister and Ms. Miller, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. All right,
This is
go
a
ahead. Mr.
photograph. This is a photograph taken from the southbound lane of Lutz Road, showing the back of the property from a fair distance away. This is kind of off-centered, but you can see the burn pile again with the building materials that has been the site for the previous burning that he has been cited for on the property. There's also some debris over here leaning up against the back of the shed. Here's a garbage can full of debris and a bag of trash and other debris laying around in the yard on the back side of the property. This is just stepping back a ways from the rear of the structure, showing that the different debris and stuff and equipment that's just strung out throughout the area of the backyard. Here's a whole bunch of building material that's laying on the ground and also laying on a trailer frame that's been propped up with blocks. Also to the right there, you'll see the golf cart that was there on May 22nd. When I indicated to Mr. Christner that he needed to get the golf cart inside of the barn as well. Now we got a go-kart and a mini bike laying out in the yard amongst the building materials. This is some material. I can't say it's the exact material, but material that was sitting in that area back on May 22nd when I was out there on the fire response. Here's a copy or a photograph of the burn pile showing the building materials that are being put in the pile. Got some 2x4s. There's a complete door sitting over here in the pile.
You need to scroll down one further. There we go.
This is just a different angle. So now we're seeing some building material. We're seeing a door. We're seeing styrofoam food containers, which would be illegal against state law to be burning in a burning pile as well. This is just a different angle of the burn pile, again showing various different debris of building materials sitting in the pile.
You need to scroll down further. Okay.
This is to the east side of the property, furnace ductwork sitting out in the yard, along with some other, they're using a generator to when they work apparently because there's no power there. Other items laying in the yard. Here, I don't know what all this is, whether it's tile floor or what, but it's laying out in the backyard by the back door in this shed. This is a picture from the back door. The back door was standing wide open when I was on the property. So this is taking a picture through the back door, showing that the walls are still completely gutted. This is a photograph of the power meter for this house, showing that there's no display on it whatsoever because the power has been terminated completely. This is the generator that they're apparently using to power the equipment when they are there working. This photograph was taken from the east side of the property looking west through the open window that was there. Again, basically still down to the studded walls, and we've got trash and debris laying in the floors.
Well, it looks not like trash. It looks like plastic PVC plumbing components.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Okay.
Here's another view from that same window of electrical wires being run. I can tell you that there is now a valid electric permit and there is a valid plumbing permit. However, no request for any inspections have been made. This is the gas connection to the home that previously was condemned by the mechanical inspector. That has still not been changed. Here's a different view of the interior of the home, showing that you can pretty much see from one end of the home to the other because there's no wall coverings on any of the walls. This is the front porch area. You can still see that there's missing siding, missing ceiling pieces on the front of the house. This is a photograph from the west side of the house pointing east, showing that you can again see completely through the home because all the walls are down to the studs. This truck sitting in the front yard, I would make an assumption because of the hood up that it's inoperable. This is the same vehicle that was cited in the case that I had in Constantine Township. So it's now back over in White Pigeon Township. It now has a New Jersey a Missouri license plate on it. I have no idea who it's registered to, however. We have now put windows circling the trees, windows and doors circling 3 of the trees out in the front yard. This is just one of the other trees out in the front yard. And then this is the 3rd tree out in the front yard. Here's the dump truck with the Missouri registration. Again, I have no idea whose registration that is or if it even belongs on that dump truck. It does appear to be a valid plate, but again, I'm not sure that it belongs on that dump truck. Here's some debris laying out in front of the barn closer to Lutz Road. The barn door, I don't know whether it was taken off or blown off, but now the barn door is laying on the ground, exposing casual entry to humans and vermin into the building.
Where there's no rail on the barn, I don't believe it. There's no way to back up. There's no way to connect that door. There's no rail on the top of the exterior of the barn, unless it's on the inside.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that door was on the front of that building at one point in time. And now
The rail must be on the inside. All right.
This is the west side of the barn. They had it covered in Tyvek material with the assumption that they were going to cover it with metal. Now the Tyvek's blowing off of it. So that's not being finished either. This is a view from almost out on Lutz Road, looking to the east, showing the debris up by the barn and throughout the yard. Trailer on the property, it is licensed, so I can only assume that it is properly registered. That would be okay and not a violation. Here's a copy of the plumbing permit that was obtained on March 26th. For this property. Again, today, no inspections have been made at this point. And here's the electrical permit. And that was secured on March 22nd of this year. And no inspections for electrical have been made at this time either. So that would be the total of the photographs, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Those are admitted. Mr. Christner, well, let's first hear what the township's asking for. They're very frustrated. The only reason this building hasn't been previously torn down is because I keep giving you more time to do it. Hindsight, I wish I would have given them the relief they asked for on the first day. Kept trying to keep this house from being torn down. It's a 2018 case. This is the 6th hearing we've had since the compliance order was in effect. and you're just in blatant disregard of the compliance order. You don't care what I think. You don't care what they think. You don't have enough money or enough time to complete this in a timely manner. On your side of the coin, however, it does look like an active job site. There are ladders, there's saws, there's painting going on. It's obvious that someone is working on the property. But at your pace, I may not live long enough to see this project come to an end. The township is so frustrated. They've spent thousands of dollars. They feel that they're a laughing stock, that this is right in front of the township hall, and you are just doing this to everybody involved, including me. So well, first of all, let me ask what they're asking for, and then I'll ask what your position is. Mr. Thornton, what relief are you requesting?
Our relief would be the same, Your Honor. At some point, we're going to have to take this down because I agree with the court's conclusion that it's just not going to get finished. So we're still asking for the same relief.
Mr. Christner, the township has been asking me since day one to tear this down. They still want to tear it down, in which case you've been rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic doing this construction that the township wants to tear down and assess you the cost. You have given me many versions of what you intend to do here. And you did get a plumbing permit, you did get an electrical permit, and it's clear those things are proceeding. You can see the plumbing PVC pipe, you can see that wires have been pulled. And so progress is inching along. We've also got these other properties. I'm very distressed about the burn pile. They threw, you had a burn pile, they put it out, you put the stuff in the same spot. There's junk all over the site. How much more ammunition do you want to give them to have them tear your house down? Miss Miller, you're not an innocent bystander here. We don't hear anything from you, but your name's on this complaint as well. And Mr. Christner, you just haven't kept your word to me. What's your position here?
My position is we're still working on it. We're there every single day after we get out of our normal jobs. Every single day, maybe except for Sunday. I don't know why Doug is saying no progress has been made or whatnot. He obviously didn't go through the inside very well. I did email the court some pictures of the inside of all the work that has been done on the inside.
Well, just a second. When did you send that?
I sent it earlier today around 1:30.
Well, that hasn't been given to me. Who did you send it to?
I just sent it to the email address that the clerk gave me. It was the 3BDC at stjosephcountymichigan.org.
That's Tab's email, and she's not here. Well, obviously, you've been working on it, but your pace is.
Well, I'm only one guy, Your Honor, and I mean, Eva.
Well, which is why I wish I would have torn it down in the first place. I keep letting you do this. What really irks me is you got crap all over the place. You got windows stacked up out there. You got piles of junk. You're burning stuff up. Give me some little help here.
Ever since I got cited for the first burn, Your Honor, we haven't burned anything there. There has been trash thrown on there, but as you can see from like what their previous statements, the weeds growing up through it, obviously we're not burning anything on it.
Well, then the converse is you got a bunch of construction junk stacked up on the property. So it looks terrible. You got stuff. So, all right, you're not going to burn it. I'm assuming maybe you're not that foolish to burn it again after they're just out there in May. but you aren't doing anything else with it. You're just throwing it in a pile that everybody
No,
can see
I
when they drive down either road.
I take almost a truckload home every night and throw it in my hopper or take it out to waste management. I mean, you can go out there right now and there ain't a single piece of trash on the property. I mean, there's some unorganized wood piles that came from inside the barn that we were putting on the trailer frame to haul off the property altogether. You know, it's not my main priority to organize a wood pile right now. My main priority is to get the house done. You know,
Well, I have to look back at my
windows
notes.
were put out by the tree yesterday and sold on Facebook. You know, they were inside the shed. We sold them last night on Facebook. You know, we had to present them and show them to the people. You know, it's all about timing. You know, instead of Doug taking pictures from the bushes along the road, why don't he just come up and talk to me? Because I was there. I was obviously there. If the door was open, I was there on the property.
Hmm.
Well, your time frames never work. So
I'm
according
there
to you,
almost from 10 in the morning till midnight.
All right, well, this was supposed to be done in 2019. COVID certainly restricted things last year, but it does appear that work's been done. It's not being done fast enough. I'll accept your representation. You're under oath that you had those windows out there for purpose of selling them. Why is the power turned off?
Well, I called last month or the last time we had court, you know, you guys brought it up that, or Doug brought it up that I wasn't paying the bill, that they're going to shut the power off. So I called in and I was going to attempt to pay the bill. Well, the bill was paid. It wasn't the bill that got the power shut off. From talking to AEP, the county code inspector called in and had the power shut off. It was never shut off for an unpaid bill or because of any electrical notices or anything else. He called in and had it shut off.
Who's he?
Well, the only county code inspector I know is Doug Coleman.
Doug
Your
or
Honor,
Joe?
Your Honor, I did not do it, but I suspect that it was Ron Blair, the electrical inspector, that probably had the power terminated, and I could confirm that if we need to.
Well, ever since then, I mean, the electrician made it so we had one working recep and the water pump worked. So we could wash our paintbrushes, wash our concrete sprayer, things of that nature. And ever since then, it's been a pain in the butt because the 8,000 watt generator doesn't want to run 2 paint sprayers, a water pump, and an air compressor. You know, and that's been a major, major hassle over the past 2 months.
All right. Well, the township wants me to tear it down yesterday.
We have the pictures. Dorian's emailing them to you right now.
All right. They found your email. I'll forward it to you, Lance.
There should be quite a few of them because it only let me send 25 megabytes of pictures at a time.
What's your time frame?
I mean, right now I'm waiting on the plumber. I mean, the inside has been totally wired except for the breaker box and the outside meter box, which the electrician was started on yesterday. But the inside's been totally wired. I'm waiting on the plumber to finish so I can call Wiki Joe, and then he can inspect and I can insulate, drywall, and go from there. But you know, we've ripped up the floors. There are 3 layers of decking on top of the original floor. We took all that out. I replaced every single floor joist in the attic and in the master bedroom. I built every wall. I built 3 pocket door walls to use the original barn doors on them. I mean, there's been a lot of work going on in there.
When he starts.
Doug, what's your email?
municipalzoning@gmail.com.
I got it in here. Guess I don't, there it is. All right, I forwarded everything that he sent us. Let's take a look. Oh boy, it's gonna be a pain. I have to open these one by one.
I have not received it yet, so
Have you, Lance?
I checked a minute ago. I'll check again. No, Your Honor, I haven't.
I just got them.
And I just got them.
I got 5 of them.
Well, they'll keep coming.
That's all there should be is 5.
Well, there's 5 separate emails and each email has pictures in it. Gene, what's the email address at the Township Hall?
office@whitepigeontwp.com.
Office at
Yes,
WPT.
yes. White Pigeon TWP.
Okay, so spell out White Pigeon.
Yes, sir. All lowercase, all together.
I'll send these to you so you and Don can see them also.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes?
I think your analogy is spot on that we're rearranging the deck of the chairs on the deck of the Titanic. I did put in my report, maybe a different swing at this, that if we're not at a point where we think we want to be allowed to tear this property down, maybe we need to look at a sanction for every day that this property does not have a certificate of occupancy. And maybe that will put a little bit more drive into this thing. This thing's going on way too long.
They're supposed to quit our job.
Right.
I don't see that that's sent.
I just got the second one, Your Honor, of interior pictures. It's got 6 of them.
Gene, give me that address again.
It's office
I
at,
can forward it, Your Honor.
Oh, there you go. Let Lance do it. He has it. That would work out. Thank you, Lance.
Well, I put it in there and I started.
Okay.
All right. Looking at those pictures, and I had the first view of them, he sent them in to the court, and we've been without our administrator for a while here, and she's had some time off, so they were sitting in a, but he didn't forward them to the plaintiffs. It does show that progress, oops, that's the wrong one, was made. On the inside, you can see that they have got a bathtub in there. They've worked on shoring up the foundation. I have to open these pictures one by one, so it's a pain in the neck. But the first batch shows flooring put in, framing in the walls, framing in the ceiling. There's a vanity in there. There's a bathtub in there. There's flooring in the bathroom. They're working on those things in the house. That's apparently on the second floor.
Yeah, there's no walls up there before at all.
On the first floor, we see the Tyvek, I see the framing, I see the electrical wire, I see the ceiling joists have been framed in, the windows have been framed in, there are new windows in the property. So in point of fact, he has done quite a bit. It's just his pace, and looks like you're building some pocket doors. I suppose, if anything, the priority ought to be on the outside of the property to get. Now, granted, those windows didn't look very good piled up against the tree, but I guess that's what you do when you're going to sell them. That pile looks like a burn pile, but it has not in fact been burned. There's junk all over the place, but some of it is right in the throes of construction. We've got a trailer with a bunch of stuff on it that perhaps is on its way to the landfill. We got cement mixers, we got generators, we got a job site. We've also got this junky truck, which they got out of Constantine Township and moved it into White Pigeon Township. What's the story with the truck?
It's a dump truck, Your Honor. I mean, I only use it to haul dirt, cement, and trash. I mean, it's not meant to be nice, or it's just meant to.
Well, is it registered?
It's registered to the previous owner. It's not registered to me, no.
Does it run?
Yeah, I just had to charge up the battery. Battery goes dead every once in a while.
Is it insured?
Yeah. I just don't use it that often, 3 times a year.
Well, there again, you've got zero perception of how, well, maybe not zero, limited perception of how angry the township is about this. And your position is, well, hey, I'm just get off my back so I can get this done. And then you got stuff like you bring a truck they got out of one township onto this thing. You got junk all over the place. You got the golf cart there. In the meantime, you are working on trying to complete this project. How much money have you spent on this?
Well, I've spent more money on fines, I can tell you that much. But
Well, I mean, you bought windows and flooring and bathtubs and wiring and plumbing and siding.
I was just talking to Eva last night. Like, I've got about $20,000 wrapped up into it, like material wise.
All right. Which shows a good faith commitment to try to complete this project. However, the pace at which it's proceeding and the manner at which it's proceeding is very vexatious to the township. Unbidden, Officer Coleman just makes the suggestion that we put in some monetary sanctions. Everything I give you on a fine is that much less money you have to apply to this project. I do see that work has been done on the inside of the property. Tell me, what's the story with the barn door?
I took it down to paint it. Like, there is no track that's put up there, you know, like that. Like I told you before, the barn really wasn't my priority, but I had somebody willing to help, so I figured I'd let them paint the barn because that has to be done. But we took the door down. It screws in place. It's usually secured in place with screws, but we just took it down to paint it.
Oh, it doesn't slide?
No, not right now. No, it will eventually, you know, when I get time to work on the barn, but house is the priority. So.
Well, it should be. Can you put the truck in the barn?
Yeah, I can, and I will. Yeah. Yep.
Mr. Coleman, any further suggestion?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Thornton, what's your thought?
If I could make an inquiry of Mr. Christner.
Yes, he's under oath.
Mr. Christner, you previously testified that when you took out the ceiling, you found some damaged floor joists from prior fire.
Yeah.
Have those been replaced, repaired, addressed?
Yes, they have, and I even went further as like to putting brackets on every single other joist in that bedroom.
And then
I showed a picture of that too.
I guess my other comment, Your Honor, at this point to Mr. Christner would be, and I understand the problems of trying to work without power, but I would suggest that he contact Mr. Belair. His name, contact information, including phone number, is on the electrical permit that Mr. Christner has. And he could certainly talk to Mr. Belair and see what it would take for Mr. Belair to approve the power being turned back on. I'm sure there was a reason it was turned off, and if that gets addressed, I would assume he would have the power company, he would authorize it to be turned back on.
Well, when I talked to AEP said that the county inspector, that's why I didn't know if it was Ron or Doug, but said the county inspector called in because there was a wire hanging from the pole. But that wire has been hanging from the pole before I even owned the property, and it's like a telephone wire or something. But that's why the power was shut off.
Mr. Belair will know why the power's off, and he'll know how to get it turned back on or what needs to be done.
I would suggest that you have your electrical contractor talk to him. He does not favor lay people doing electrical work. And,
right.
And I'll just leave it at that. He wants things, and you can do certain things yourself, but he's very particular, particularly when you don't have a licensed contractor, which you do. All right, so what do we do? One option is to tear it down in spite of the fact that substantial work has been done at a pace slower than the township would prefer. You've done things like put in new windows, You're redoing the electrical, you're redoing the plumbing. Essentially, you're restoring this century-old farmhouse to habitable condition. Granted, not very quickly and with much poking and prodding, but you continue to make progress. I guess I'm going to have to, and the problem is, the more hearings we have, the more expense there is to the township. But I can't, when did I let's have this? Several months ago when I wait. Now, I will grant progress has been made. I'm going to deal with this every month. That's going to cost you with further cost to the township. But the only way to make progress is for me to keep my foot on the pedal. Here's what I order right now. 21 days to remove all the debris from the property. I suppose if the truck is licensed, you have a right to park a dump truck in your yard. If you can put it in the barn, I would prefer it. We should put the door back up on the barn. When you're finished painting it, I want you to contact the electrical inspector to have the electric turned back onto the property.
Question, you have to pay for this now. No, we're done being nice. We've been nice.
Gene, I'm going to mute your mic. But other things, for example, you've got a cement mixer in there. Well, you're mixing cement to repair the foundation. But some of the stuff, you can clean it up better. We've got like the heating ducts and that sort of thing sitting out there. Put the golf cart in the barn. And keep the site clean. I'm going to review this further. I have vacation in July. And we do these on the odd numbered Wednesdays, but I'm not coming in on vacation for this. Tab asked me if we could use July 28th. That will work out just fine. I'm going to continue this to July 28th at 2 p.m. There will be additional township expense for these continued hearings, but we're going to see how much progress you can make in the next month. It's summer.
Did you say 2 p.m., Your Honor?
2 p.m. And at that point, Mr. Christner, I don't know if we'll be live by then or we'll be on Zoom still. This is the type of hearing we could continue to do on Zoom, but we're waiting further instruction from the Supreme Court in the state of Michigan and the federal government regarding opening the courts. We may be not long for having live customers in here. Although, frankly, this is more convenient for everybody involved to do this by Zoom. So you'll get a notice. I guess I'm presuming at this point it will be Zoom. And I want to see how much you can do in the next month. Get the outside cleaned up, get the property painted, get the door on it, which would be less of a poke in the eye with a sharp stick for the township board and the people that live there and have to drive past it. keep it mowed, keep it cleaned. You've done a lot since the property was acquired, I'll grant that, but it's the pace at which the work is taking place that's caused so much consternation. So we'll see what it's like in July. Bear in mind, every time we come here, they're asking me to tear it down. So I'd just as soon see the project get completed, but I have equitable jurisdiction. If we can get the outside tight, then I think we can work with getting the inside done. I do understand you're working another job. You have another project down in Mottville Township. This one's older. I want your focus to be on this one. All right.
Your Honor,
Yes.
just so you know, can Mr. Wiki be testifying at that one? I did notify the courts. That'll be the week I'll be on vacation.
Yes, that'd be fine. I don't want to make you come in from vacation either.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, we'll get an inspection, and I was gonna drive down there for lunch today myself and just eyeball it. I'm gonna go over between now and then. I haven't been over there in,
You can come in and look at it.
what?
You can come in and look at it.
Yeah.
Well, I may. I don't want to put myself in a position of being a witness, but I can do a site visit and see what the general property looks like. All right.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I extended this permit to June 23rd the last time. Do you mean to just extend it again for how long, or what's your plan?
I want to extend it to August 23rd.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Christner and Miss Miller, I want you to, as much progress as you can make in the next 35 days.
One thing,
All right.
Your Honor, I did submit another summary of legal fees. I have tried and spent the time to submit very detailed summary of fees to the court so we can keep track of what's going on, because it's been taking so long and some payments get made. So I submitted that. I emailed it to Mr. Christner this morning, so he should
What
have
is
a
it?
copy of it. I don't know if the court's willing to address restitution again, so we don't just pile up a bunch of restitution for the end.
All right, how much is it?
$2,918 through my office since December 2nd of 2020 was where the last restitution request left off.
2,918. So that's $3,000 that's going to be owed to the township that you don't have to put toward construction materials.
That does not include.
Your Honor, I've got 280, and there's also an outstanding $450 fire bill from the last ticket that he hasn't taken care of either.
We're getting close to $4,000. Mr. Christner, what's your position there?
Well, I just got the ticket like July, 16th, or what is it? May 16th? Yeah, of last month. I mean, I paid half of my fine since I got it last time. It was $4,000. I paid $2,000 of it.
All right, I want you to pay $2,000 by our next hearing, July 28th. All right. We'll be in recess.
Your Honor, I have a question, just clarification. I understand you're asking him to pay the 2,000. Are you just holding my current request for restitution?
Yes, it's about half. He's gonna pay 2,000 toward the roughly $3,700 that's due. The 2,000 will be applied toward the total in the end.
So are you ordering that restitution then, just with that payment to be made and then the balance still owed?
Correct.
Okay.
Trying to balance the restitution figure with the having enough money to apply to the project. You could make this a lot cheaper on yourself by trying to comply with all the codes and doing it in a more timely manner. But as Mr. Coleman indicated, maybe if there's a financial sanction that might induce faster response. All right. You're all free to go.
I'll prepare the order, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I want pop. I just want pop.
All right, I'm gonna end the live feed at the end of a long day. We may have some carryover stuff up that I'm not aware of, like a bench warning or something, but that completes our day. I will be gone tomorrow. We will be back